All right, KMR, welcome back to the channel that braps. Thank you so much for everybody who's been hitting that like button, making sure to follow. We're up to 15,000 people following the channel now. I cannot believe it. We're going to keep making videos, loving the Rotary, talking the Brap, whether it's the engine builds, car builds, we're at the track. You know what we're about. We're about the Dorito. Spicy Doritos, Cool Ranch, it doesn't matter. We're going to bring the Brap, and we're going to keep having fun with it. So this is a recent build that came through the shop. Semi-P-Port Half-Bridge 13B. This would be more common in your drag race, cars, quarter mile, anything that's really looking to make high horsepower at high RPM. We've got a lot of intake airflow going on here. So with this particular build, it did come in because it had a catastrophic failure. And with that, we had to replace some parts. One rotor got replaced, two new rotor housings, exhaust porting, semi-P-port modification. It was a unique failure. Essentially, the previous engine's water seal packing looked like it failed. That led to a water seal failure, which probably led to temperature problems, which led to also a bearing failure. So catastrophic failure. We had to resurface side plates, replace one rotor, all new bearings. We cleaned up the porting, replaced the center housing because it had a crack in it. Everything had to be matched porting. Rotors had to be matched. We ended up looking at the existing set of rotors, which one was catastrophically damaged, could not be repaired, and they had actually already been side cut. So in this case, in lieu of balancing, we were able to find a matching rotor that happened to be the rear rotor with the proper weight, and we were able to side clearance it and not have to go through a full rebalancing process. We were within a couple grams. We were really happy about that. Saves a couple bucks and get things up and running a little sooner. But still, massive amount of parts had to be replaced. Along with that, all new bearings. The rear gear had to be replaced. The eccentric shaft had to be replaced. And obviously, when it comes to the parts package, even though this is a high horsepower motor, this is not going into a drag car. This is more of a show car, fun car. So it is all about the Brap. So all OEM parts, basically throughout the build, factory components, going to be reliable, going to last a long time, very tight tolerances. And then with the apex seals, because this is going to have some boost behind it, because it has had some issues in the past, we went with a safe choice E&J 2mm apex seals, 2-piece. So those will drop right into your factory groove and have a lot more resilience to detonation. They're not going to break, not going to shatter. They can take some EGT. They've got some good run time. I've been really happy with them in my race cars, and we have a lot of customers using those or that style of seal when it's in what I would consider a modified application. Obviously, single turbo, aftermarket can turbo, big injectors, big fuel delivery. Even though this motor's not going for 1,000 horsepower plus in drag trim, it's going to easily flow 300, 400, 500 horsepower, which means you're still going to need some good fuel delivery behind it. So kind of a neat setup. This particular block did have some oversized bolts, so we went ahead and machined the new components to match. I always prefer studs, a little bit better on your torque spec, but since this block already had reinforcement, obviously, we used what was there and was available for the customer. So just a really cool build. Obviously running no metering pumps, so they're pre-mixing. You can see aftermarket injectors, plugged rotor housings. It's really just a straightforward race motor at this point. You know, everything's been stripped. You don't have an oil drain back, no water in on the rear. Basically as clean as possible, ready for boost, ready for action. On the oil side, we did run a race regulator and shimmed the front cover. I think somebody asked in a previous video, it depends on what rear regulator you're running, but in this case, I would believe this motor is shimmed and set to about 95 psi oil pressure and should maintain that through most running conditions. You might get a little drop off at high RPM, high temperatures, but the Mazda oiling systems are pretty straightforward and pretty reliable. There you go. That's a Brap. A little build talk, ran through the specs, street port, half bridge, semi-peripheral, 13B. It's going to brap, it's going to boost. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching.